Well, the EU has deplored the confrontation between Israeli troops and a group of European diplomats in the occupied West Bank. The EU has also called on Tel Aviv to provide an explanation for the confiscation of humanitarian aid from a group of aid workers who were accompanying the diplomats. On Friday, Israeli soldiers manhandled a group of European diplomats and aid workers as they handed out tents to a group of Palestinian Bedouins. Last week, the Israeli army bulldozed the Bedouins' village in the Jordan Valley over claims that the area is a closed military zone.
Kirbet al-Makul village, the occupied West Bank. Israeli troops clashed with a group of Bedouins whose homes were demolished by the Israeli army. A man gasping with pain as he lies on the dirt. Earlier, the Israeli army roughed up a group of European diplomats who had come to help out the displaced Bedouins in the Jordan Valley village. Minutes later, a European diplomat is forced by Israeli troops to roll in dirt. Israeli forces yanked French diplomat Marianne Fesneau-Casson out of the aid truck and confiscated the vehicle. She felt a pinch of the humiliation that Palestinians go through every day at the hands of the Israeli soldiers. The Israeli forces' manhandling of the European diplomat triggered her harsh reaction.
They dragged me out of the truck and forced me to the ground with no regard for my diplomatic immunity. This is how international law is being respected here.
The Israeli forces prevented the diplomats from carrying out their mission, which later triggered Palestinians' anger. The United Nations says 10 families, including 16 children, were displaced after the Israeli army bulldozed their homes.
They came to us farmers with their bulldozers and they demolished everything and scattered us all, even 4- and 5-year-old little children. No human being could act like this. They destroyed everything and left nothing at all.
Israel says the area is a closed military zone, but the Bedouins say they are the owners of the land and not Israel.
These are lands owned by people, and they have certificates. They have been on this land for dozens of years.
The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs says Israel has destroyed more than 500 Palestinian houses in the West Bank and mostly in the East Jerusalem Al-Quds since the start of 2013. More than 860 people have been left homeless as a result. Add to that Israel's non-stop settlement building in defiance of the international community and in violation of international law. Under the UN Security Council Resolution 446, Israeli settlements in the occupied Palestinian territories are illegal. Tel Aviv's lack of respect for international calls for a halt to the settlement construction triggered the European Union to impose a ban in July on giving aid to Israeli organizations in the occupied Palestinian lands. The ban will take effect next year, but the US is standing in the middle. Washington has urged the EU to postpone it. Elsewhere in Vienna, Western governments rushed against to help Israel to censure Tel Aviv for its refusal to acknowledge possession of nuclear weapons. 54 Western governments voted against to kill the resolution at the International Atomic Energy Agency. Diplomats say the resolution was voted down due to a strong US-led lobbying on behalf of Israel. The regime is believed to have the largest arsenal of WMDs in the Middle East, but it has never acknowledged them nor accepted international monitoring. In 2008, former US President Jimmy Carter confirmed that Israel had at least 150 nuclear warheads, while it's widely believed that the arsenal is much bigger than that.